Welcome to week 5 of the MBL. This is the Teambuilder video with my main man, Team Man, and I believe we'll be facing Patters and Gameboy Luke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Team Crumpet.
So this week, I think we decided to use some mods that we haven't really utilized, pretty much, for the 5 weeks we've been in this little fun MBL season, but we decided to go with the Torcat and Shaman lead this week. Tommy, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, like the Shaman Torque at least should be like very, very good for us. It gives us a lot of options on turn 1, or not turn 1 necessarily, but turn 2. Turn 1 should just be fake out into whatever they have. If they leave Manetric, then almost certainly Manetric because we don't want to get snarled. But otherwise, probably the Goth if they were going to lead something like that. Just make sure Trick Room doesn't go up. But yeah, we have Z Celebrate going for that on turn 1. Pretty much always. There's no reason why we'd want to not go for Z Celebrate. It should outspeed everything that's important, barring something like a Scarfmon. And then Manetric. So like I said, we can always go for fake out into that. Go to Z Celebrate off, and then from there on turn 2 with our Torcat we have Taunt. So we can be taunting stuff like Vivillon. We can taunt the Gothitelle. We can do a bunch of things. We can also just like U-turn out into either the Zapdos or the Kyurem, and just try and put in some damage from there. But overall, the goal is just going to be getting as much damage on the board with Shaman as we can. Maybe just win overall with Z Celebrate. But if Shaman just picks up like 2 to 3 knockouts, we'll be in a really, really good spot. And then we can clean up the game with stuff like the Metagross and the Crocodile. So yeah, I think that should be a really solid game plan. And we just have to hope that we get the Z Celebrate off, and then hopefully don't get crit. We should be able to tank a lot of stuff because we are going to be bulky. We're going to have the defense boosts, and we're going to have the synthesis. So we always get our health back too. So we have a lot of options. It's going to be a lot on the Shaman. We're hoping that the Shaman gets at least 2, maybe 3 knockouts. If it doesn't, then that's where it starts to get a little bit shaky, because then they can start cycling Intimidate on the Metagross side, which is a little bit problematic. But if we can get the 1 to 2, like 2 to 3 knockouts, we should be like pretty good. What else? Zapdos, we're gonna be running.
Fake out.
Yeah.
Fake out to get that Z Celebrate off. For the Trick Room setup with the Gothitelle, because Trick Room is actually going to be kind of tedious against our team, but we do have double Intimidate and stuff to counteract that. So, and the U-turn to just pivot out and switch, like Tommy was saying, into either Zapdos or Kyurem on that side. And Shaman, like you said we're pretty bulky,
Yeah, we're pretty bulky.
Yeah, it's pretty much it. Just the name of our Shaman actually changed, if anybody was paying attention. It's now questionable. Yep. And that's it pretty much for Tori and Shaman, right? Or you want to go on?
No, it's pretty straightforward. It's just, fake out, Celebrate, and then from there we see what happens. We either stay in with Torcat and go for Taunt on Trick Room or Tailwind users, or we U-turn out, or we overheat them all while. It's pretty much a flow chart.
What do you want to talk about next? I like the Metagross. I'm liking the Metagross this week.
Yeah, the Metagross is kind of weird. They have triple Intimidate, which is a bit of a problem, and they're probably bringing at least 2 of them. I imagine they bring all 3, because I don't think I saw a better Mon on their team that they bring over like Gyarados, but they're going to bring both their Megas because they're both pretty good against our team. Having Clear Body allows us to ignore those Intimidates until we Mega Evolve, and thankfully we can have our Substitute go up while we still have Clear Body, so then when we do eventually Mega Evolve, they can't intimidate us behind the Substitute. So that gives us some options there. It also gives us options against the Mawile Sucker Punch. Being able to, Sucker Punch or Substitute in front of the Mawile gives us at least 1, potentially more turns of just less damage that we're going to be taking overall. If we get Intimidate down on the Mawile, then our Substitute should be able to take an Iron Head or a Play Rough. So just a lot of versatility there. The only thing on the team that we really can't hit with the Metagross is the Gyarados, but I think Shaman sits in front of it like really really well and should be able to wall it as long as they're not Z bounce. And
Mm-hmm.
then the other side of our team, the Kiram, the Zapdos, and the Torracat. The Kiram and the Zapdos will just blow it up with Fusion Bolt or Thunderbolt, respectively, and then Torracat will intimidate it and then just switch out into one of the two, which is also fine. So, yeah, Metagross should be like pretty good. It does not really care about too many of their mons. Really, just like Chandelure and then like the faster Manectric, but that should be going down to stopping Tantrum, and we should be able to as long as we don't have to play the stupid clear body versus intimidate mega evolution game of chicken, where like they can mega evolve and then like we cannot mega evolve, keep our clear body, or like we can like mega evolve on turn 1 when they don't, and then they have access to intimidate on turn 2. It's like kind of silly, but I don't think it should be like too much of a problem. The fact that we have like substitute and we have stopping tantrum opens up a lot of like possibilities for us, but we also have to worry about like overheat. Overheat's a problem. So as long as we're like we should live in overheat, by the way, like with the Metagross, that's what our spread is EV to take that and like something on the physical side. I think maybe Diggersby Earthquake, like with like Life Orb or Choice Band, one of the two, or something like that. It's a fat meta. It'll take a lot less damage. Outspeeds everything that besides the Manectric that isn't Scarf. So yeah, we should be pretty good with the meta.
Yeah, I just love the idea of something like you were saying, with having so much like intimidate on their team. I think that's gonna be pretty good to utilize against them. Now with Metagross's best buddy, we have the Zapdos holding the Aqua Berry, Thunderbolt, Heat Wave, Whirlwind. I believe for Trick Room, any type of Trick Room setup, and Roost. Like Zapdos has been like super good, and I think in this matchup, barring like the Lightning Rod. I believe he gets Lightning Rod, right?
Manectric
Metric.
before Mega Evolution, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think we're trying to. I mean, if we do hit Thunderbolts off, it's great. But I think like we're mostly probably going to utilize like Whirlwind Roost, maybe Heat Wave against this type of team that they have.
Yeah, it's a bulkier Zapdos set. We're not running a lot of special investment, so basically we're just gonna sit on the field and fire off attacks with the Zapdos and
Hmm.
fire off a Whirlwind, a Roost whenever possible. But Zapdos, is really high up in the KO chart. I don't think it's gonna like pick up a knockout this week unless it's picking up a knockout on something like heavily chipped, because that's not like the set we're running this week. We're running like a bulky, grindy set, and as long as like it's mostly so that if we fall behind in the game, right, like against like say they set up Trick Room, say we're not able to stop it, that kind of stuff, we have to bring in Zapdos later. Maybe they have Gothitelle on the field and we need to like get rid of the Shadow Tag for a turn so we can switch our partner out. It just gives us a lot of option to get back into a game that we're maybe behind in, just because it has the bulk, it has Roost, it has a Guava Berry, and then Whirlwind's just like a really really good utility against this kind of team. And then Heat Wave and Thunderbolt is just general damage. Get some chip damage on stuff like Mawile, like Manectric, like Diggersby, like Pangoro, whatever they might have, and just win a long game with Zapdos. Ideally, we don't want to play a long game. We want to like click Shaman buttons and kill them quickly. But if we do have to play a longer game, we have the Zapdos, and Zapdos should help get us there.
Mm. With that being said, let's go on to the Crook, which I like also this week. We're holding the Choice Band, pretty, just bulky set, HP, so 262 in HP, 164 in attack, 12 speed F, 76 speed, 4 defense, Earthquake, Superpower, Knockoff, and Stomping Tantrum. I think this week we don't really need speed. Like, only thing that's like outspeeding like our team, you're saying, was the Manectric and I believe the Pavilion. What I'm talking about?
Yeah, like Vivillon, Manectric, they can run a bunch of speed on their Gyarados and their Chandelure to get them pretty fast as well, but um, like I said, the Gyarados in particular has to, if it wants to KO Crocodile, it has to get through Zapdos, Kyurem, Black, and Shaman, which is a lot.
Mhm.
And the Shandy, I believe that's what the bulk specifically is for. Taking like I think a boosted overheat. That's why we're running bulk in the first place. So as long as we're able to do that, then Crocodile just hits the rest of the team really, really hard. The Choice Band lets us pick up knockouts through Intimidate, mainly the Manetric. I know I mentioned it before, Snarl is something that I'm really afraid of just because we have 2 physical attackers, we have 4 special attackers, and if Manetric starts getting Snarls off, it gets really hard to pick up knockouts as they're trying to whittle us down with really hard hitting offensive threats like Mawile and Diggersby. So being able to pick up a knockout on the Manetric as soon as possible is something I want to prioritize this week. That's why we have the Shaman having Earth Power +1 Earth Power to pick up a Manetric, and then our Crocodile should pick up the KO through Intimidate. So either with an Earthquake if we are sitting next to our Zapdos, or Stopping Tantrum. Just having the option to have both allows us to win in different situations. So
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of scared of the Chandelure. And I'm thinking about it. Looking at our team, it does hit a lot of our mons for either neutral or super effective damage. Kyurem, Zapdos, barring the Torracat, Shaman.
It's gonna hit Torracat just as hard as it's gonna hit Zapdos. Let's be real.
Yeah, true. But I think that's gonna be one of the scariest mons.
Yeah, thankfully we have a lot of bulk, and we should be able to take a hit from the Chandelure pretty well. And then I think 4 out of our 6 mons should be able to hit it for 80 plus. So that's really good. Stopping Tantrum, the Earth Power from Shaman, all of the Crook moves besides Super Power, and then Ground Z from the Kyurem. So we should be able to take out Chandelure. We might have to trade to do it, but we should be able to take it out.
Gotcha. All right. Let's go to the last antenna mon that we're bringing. The Kyurem Black. Kyurem has been put in a lot. Has Kyurem put in a work? Yeah. No, but we've been bringing a lot. Yeah, it has. It has. Let me not say that. It's actually been really good. But we're running Ground Z. They hit that Mawile, that what's the other Pokemon? That Chandelure.
And the Manetric.
And the Manetric. Yeah. So we got a lot of ground moves this week, guys. Yeah.
They got a lot of ground weeks.
Yeah. Fusion Bolt, Ice Beam, Earth Power Protect, pretty simple. Bulky spread. That thing does a lot of damage, and it's gonna just wreak havoc if they don't come prepared for it, because it literally hits a lot of their team. And Fusion Bolt is hitting the Gyarados. Earth Power hitting the mons that we were saying before. Ice Beam is hitting the Vivillon and the what's the other mod they have? They have a Diggersby on their team as well. Kyurem Black with its high, special attack. It's ridiculous. I think this is one of the best pickups we had.
Oh yeah, Kyurem's past is really good.
yeah, it's really good, especially with redirection. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think the big part of Kyurem, why it's so potent and powerful, is because its coverage is insane. We have ice, ground, and electric on a mon that's actually hitting with those moves really, really hard. There's a lot of things that run Ice Beam, but not a lot of them actually get stabbed because there's not a lot of good ice types in general. So the fact that you have a mon with stab Ice Beam off of 120 special attack is still really, really strong. So being able to abuse that is really good. Fusion Bolt, even though we're timid, will still clean KO that Gyarados because 4x weakness, and you're coming off a base 170 attack stat anyways. So Fusion Bolt just pretty cleanly knocks out. And as we saw last week, Terravolt is actually a really good ability, and sometimes comes into play. I know that me and Lorcy didn't react to it in the video, but the Togedemaru on Joe and Marty's end last week was Sturdy, and Terravolt allowed us to ignore Sturdy and just pick up the knockout on the Toge. This week, the big thing that it can do is if the Gyarados is next to the Manetric, we just ignore Lightning Rod and Fusion Bolt it. So, I don't think that'll ever come into play, most likely because Manetric wants to Mega Evolve pretty soon against our team, unless they're specifically going for a Gyarados setup. But yeah, otherwise we're really gonna be able to just click all the buttons and hit things super effectively with Kyurem like we usually do, and it should hit everything pretty hard. The only thing that doesn't hit that hard is the Gothitelle, which is fine because it's not really doing too much damage.
Yeah. Yeah, Karam, hard hitter. I mean, that's my favorite pickup. This year. I love Karam, but actually, Togetic is up in the race too. I like Togetic a lot. That's the next mod that we'll be talking about. Unfortunately, we've decided like we're probably not bringing this at all. But Togetic has been really, really good
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I think the mons that we have to slow down on their end are Manectric and Mawile specifically, and
Mm,
both of those Pokemon are gonna hit the Togetic pretty hard.
mm,
And if that's the case, then we just need more damage output. So not running Toads this week is probably ideal. Um, we also get into the problem of having maybe too many support Pokemon if we were gonna run something like Toad, because we have Shaman, which is gonna set up, but we also have like Torracat, which even though Overheat hits pretty hard, doesn't do that much damage. Our Zapdos is really bulky this week, so we just need to make sure that we had like another way to do like lots of damage. So having the Toad on the bench this week is probably just the safer play, just to make sure we get the damage output that we need across all 6 of the slots we're actually bringing. But we'll be bringing Togetic in future weeks. It's a really good mon, and it's probably been our MVP so far this season.
mm. No, MVP. You're gonna give it MVP?
So far, yeah, it's definitely been our MVP. It's kept us in weeks just because it'll sit on the field for like, 5, 6, 7 turns in a row and just stay there forever. Sit up Tailwind, roost a bunch of times so it doesn't die, and it lets everything else win. Kieran's been really good. Kieran or Zapdos would probably be like our close seconds, but
Yeah, I would say
Togetic's been really
Zapdos
good.
second. Yeah,
Yeah.
Zapdos second. All right. Well, enough about Togetic. Let's go to the last mon. This is the MVP. Altaria. Uh, yeah.
I think we're done with the team builder. It's just yeah, like we're gonna keep putting in team builder because like maybe we'll bring it, but as of now like we're not, and it just gets hit hard by the Mawile. The big thing is I want to scare off the Pangoro. That's why it's here. The Pangoro hits
Mhm.
the cube really hard. So if they don't bring the Pangoro, I think that's ideal. Um, and the other mons they would be bringing Superior. It scares off Superior. Um, like it's just a good mon to have in team preview to scare off certain things from
Yes,
them.
Superiors are pretty annoying, actually. So, yeah, bring him Altaria.
Yeah, like
Well, not well.
look at our mons. Like Superior like can't touch any of these things. The only thing that hits is the Krook. But like if we were gonna bring something like uh the Floatzel, the Linoon, like Superior would do a lot of damage to that. It's the problem when they bring the Superior and the Superior goes for like 2 Leaf Storms and we like miss a KO and then it starts actually doing damage, and then they maybe go for something like Glare and they glare us and they paralyze us, and then it's just not a fun time. Like even though the Superior wouldn't be like that good against us, knowing the mons that they're going to bring is very good because it just like lets us know, okay, if they have a Superior in their team preview, we know they're probably bringing this mon, this mon, and this mon, and leaving behind the Superior. And if they don't bring, if they bring the Superior, they're leaving behind one of the other like really important mons. So it's generally just like a win-win for us overall.
Yes, yes. Altaria, MVP. Sorry, not sorry. But I think that, I don't know, you know, I think that, like in theory, when we were building or picking the mons for this team, I think that Altaria was, I think it's still good. It's just the teams that have been composed have like a lot of ways to deal with it, so we just don't bring it at all. But what if we do make the playoffs and we could just swap it out for something,
Jo-
whatever the
jo-
case may be.
okay, here's a fun question, Josh. Do you know that we can actually do like free agency during the season?
Wait, what?
I had a feeling that was the answer. Yeah, we'll be talking about that in future weeks. We can do free agency during the season, and we might be looking to change out a few mons. But all the things that we've been picked up, that have been picked up, have been like really good so far. Altaria is probably the only thing that hasn't performed. Like even Floatzel, had its week. Last week was pretty good for Floatzel, and even though we lost against 2D 3D, the soak play was pretty cool, and I'd like to like potentially bring that back later in the season. And then Linoon always has that potential to just unprepared team, belly drum, extreme speed, and go from there. So we'll be looking at other mons, but I think Altaria like still has some more to show before we like give up on it.
Well,
That's it. I think we're done. I think we are done. Thank you guys for watching. Josh, anything else?
okay.
No? Good.
Guys, if you enjoy this team builder, please give this video a like. Once again, we appreciate y'all for dealing with us in the past 4 weeks and the stuff that we have brought you to the table. And yeah. Thank you for watching my video. Well, me and Tommy's video. Make sure you watch Tommy's channel, and hopefully we win this week.
We're gonna throw a Z celebration next week. It's gonna be great.
Oh, I like that. That was good. Well, bye guys.
Bye.
Peace.